There's been a lot of that today. My brain is not in a good spot, but I'm going to claim to teach you guys something tonight, or try to teach myself. I don't know. Anyway, do we want to just queue a game while we wait for people to filter in, or do we want me to do that that style of training that Circuit was recommending to me? Tiger just got home 10 minutes ago from Orange, but you're ready to learn. Hot damn! Thanks for rallying up, Clown Boy. Appreciate you making it here. 7 viewers already. Maybe we could just jump in. I don't know. It's tough to say. We're 16 minutes in. I guess we could jump in. Elisa June! Welcome. Play Raptor Wars, you'll wreck me. Alright, let's jump into replay class. Elisa June, we are going to be deep diving today a Grand Master level replay, Grandmaster Protoss game in the Blink Disruptor style. So I'm learning this style. I need to expand my horizons. I need to learn the theory of how these other styles like Double Stargate Phoenix, Blink Disruptor, and things that aren't like Immortal Chargelot Archon, right? Or like, you know, I almost said Bio, like Gateway Storm or Gateway Colossus, right? These very like generic Gateway Robo types of styles that I've been playing. And even though Blink Disruptor is like in the very strictest sense a Gateway Robo style, it plays very differently, right? So I want to just jump into this replay, and we're going to just watch it. We're going to just watch it, and then we're going to go back, and there are certain points that I want to hit. I've seen this one before, and there's nothing particularly magical about this specific replay. It just happens to be one that I watched and kind of did a deep dive in. And this is between see this player here, and Weenies here, Weenies. And so we're going to be watching it from Lily's perspective. We're going to be watching the production tab, but we're going to be watching it from Lily's perspective. And rather than make your camera bounce all around while we watch the early moments at 4x speed, I'm just going to kind of look around at some of the things that are happening here. So, open gateway, nice and normal. We can see gateway's going down on the other side. So, 2-gate scout, right? Cyber goes down. 2 gases, pile on. Let's slow it down from here. Start watching the scout. Actually, you know what? Let's watch this player's camera here. This is an HX replay, by the way. No need to keep that a secret, I suppose. So we're gonna. I think I did not have it locked to this camera. I still had it on follow that probe. My bad. So a little bit of spam. HX, a known spammer. Both his camera and the chat, of course. So, super duper duper standard here. Opponent opting for Double Adept, which we have not scouted yet. And HX going for a Stalker Sentry, opening the opening that I favor. Now, this is a little cheeky, this pylon by opponent. The idea here is, don't tempt me. Everybody knows you hate memes, HX, so anyway. So the deal here is vision, and then trying to sort of bully you about your ability to block the adepts out, right? So I don't actually know how this times out. So here's a question for HX and any other players who are better than me in the chat. Does this pylon timing work out such that you can shade across and cancel the pylon and let yourself in? Does that work? I'm not actually sure if that works or not. It does not work. So it is purely a scouting thing then?
Here in the shadows.
So here he does scout the 2 adept if he's looking, which he tabbed to his probe, so I assume that he is looking. He pylon blocks opponent's nexus and does let it finish, right? We see that down here. Pylon blocking the opponent's nexus, letting it finish. No pylon block by opponent, they build their pylon here. And then the probe is in position to take the nexus, so now we keep going. Note, by the way, the positioning of the gateway units. Stalker out in front, so that he's got a little bit of vision to know when the pylon needs to block adepts. Sentry in the back so the adepts can't pick it off. This is actually a hugely important thing. This is a hugely important thing in PvP. I have gotten my sentry killed so many times. So now we go 2-stalker follow-up. He sees the adepts coming in. The probe is in position. A pylon goes down. Everything perfect, nice and safe. Life is great. The probe is in the base, still sharking around, and the pylon is still blocking opponent's nexus. Now, his nexus is not down yet, so we are not ahead yet, but we're still waiting on minerals, right? And we're going to get 100 back in a second here. So now, this is a scary moment, right? Because if you instantly take the nexus and you don't have the 100 minerals, you can't make the thing. But he sees where the adept shades are, right? He sees the adept shades are out here. Got the time. Well, he doesn't see the shades when he makes the nexus, right? If we back it up just a little smidge, just a little smidge. I guess I said I was gonna, before I deep dive the analysis, we were gonna watch through, but I don't know. I'm finding things I want to look at, so let's just look at them. So he moves the units out. Moves the units out because this is an important little moment. If you build the thing right now, and the adept shades are right here, you're in a spot of bother, right? You're in a little bit of a spot of bother. So moving the stalkers forward is smart, right? We like that. Wait, let's lock to the camera again. So there, and then up, I gotta get the pylon down. As soon as the minerals are up, as soon as they hit 100, he drops the pylon down, and the adept shades have to cancel. So, super cool, super good stuff. I'll try to just play through more of the replay than I have been. He's seen adepts, so he starts a shield battery in his main mineral line. This is because adepts usually mean oracle follow-up. We don't know that for a fact, but it may mean oracle. Now, we see that, in fact, opponent has gone Twilight. They've actually just started Blink. Their Twilight is earlier than ours. It is already done, in fact, while ours is just starting. Totally fine, not a huge deal. Again, the adepts get spotted. The pylon block goes down. Pylon wall, I should say. It sounds like I'm talking about a supply block when I say it the other way. So Stalker production and Blink for opponent. Twilight Council for H-checks here.
Engaging the enemy.
Robo goes down for opponent. Robo goes down for H-checks. Blink for H-checks. So Blink Robo on both sides of this game. Blink Robo on both sides. And we see the Nexus finishing just a little bit quicker for H-checks here due to the pylon block across the map over here. Alright, just sharking around with the Stalkers. Sharking around. We see Phoenix Scout going across. We can go ahead and speed up a little bit. He takes a look. He manages to get the scout of both the Robo and the Twilight Council, as well as the additional gateway. Says, okay, you're going to get those things. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get a Forge. I'm going to get a Forge. Opponent says, I'm going to get Charge. And I'm also going to get a Forge. H-checks goes for an Observer. H-checks' opponent goes for an Immortal. So H-checks saying, I want to know where your stuff is. I want to know what you're up to. I am not as worried about punching your teeth in. Now, he has scouted an additional gate, and he has obviously seen opponent poking his front, so he says, you know what? One safety battery in the front, not a crazy investment, and it's going to make sure that I don't die to anything stupid. Now, he has scouted that opponent has a second base. So he knows it's not some crazy one base all in. He's also seen a good portion of this main base. He knows there's not like a million gateways in there, right? So a little bit of safety, but no freak out. Now, tiny mistake here. This OBS was not moved or rallied anywhere until the second OBS finishes, but he's like, ah, crap, okay, I did that. Not a big deal, stays calm. Since one OBS out, since the other OBS out, get some good coverage going. Little mistakes like that shouldn't throw you too bad off your game. I am super guilty of this, right? Where I make a mistake, get really mad at myself for making a mistake, and then play worse as a result. Okay, you don't want to do that. So both players getting +1 ground weapons, and H-checks adding on those 2 extra gateways. H-checks' opponent now adding on some gateways that have not yet been scouted, right? So if we look at the actual gate count, right? HX is up 1 now, but we've got a big ol' explosion de gate happening for our opponent. OBS goes down, rip, press F to pay respects to that OBS. Not a huge deal. HX active on the map with the Blink Stalkers. Sees where opponent's army is. Opponent's army is here. So he says, okay, your army's at home. That means it's not at my base. My army is going to be sharking around your base. I can take a third. This is something he has been trying to drill into me, right? If your opponent's army is over there, it's not at your base. If you are going to be poking and distracting them and saying, hey, you try to send a probe to your third, it might die to some Blink Stalkers, just saying, they are not going to be killing your third, right? So little things, right? Little things, but you can kind of see he got the vision, sent the Stalkers, took the third, right? It's like a little checklist. It's like, I know in this scenario, it's fine for me to be taking this space. And so the plan here, obviously we are going into Blink Raptor, right? Robo goes down. Opponent is going into Templar tech, well, Archon tech, right? And opponent is getting a Prism. Prism means aggression, right? Means I'm going to either be harassing you with it, or I'm going to be using it as a pylon behind my army, and I'm going to have a big ol' army. So a little bit of a danger moment for these Stalkers, right? So he moves his camera over to them right as they are going up this ramp, right? You don't want to be not looking, have your opponent in a big giant concave and have a bunch of sad dead Stalkers. So he has attention right when the time comes for it, sees opponent moving out. Now he doesn't see a huge army, but he does see the composition. He saw Stalkers, he saw Zealots, and he saw Immortals, right? And he sees some Zealots here.
Upgrade.
So it's, yeah, okay, I was going to back it up, but we actually scout the composition right here, right?
Complete.
So we blink away,
Battlefield depleted.
and we start our Disruptor production.
Engaging
Now,
the enemy.
I'm gonna call this out. We're not gonna deep dive it yet, okay? I'm gonna call this out. We're not gonna deep dive it yet. HX just started 2 shield batteries, and wait, where is it? Okay, 3 shield batteries? No. What are these buildings? Liz, please. Okay, sorry. 2 shield batteries and a cannon, or 2 shield batteries and 2 cannons. My bad. He starts 2 shield batteries, 2 cannons, right at this moment. We're going to come back and we're going to look at specifically this moment in a little bit. Still sharking around. Still sharking around. No cancel on the third. No cancel on the third. Sharking around. Opponent kind of gets a weird little surround, right? We can blink away. Not a huge deal. Opponent shows charge, right? See charge is done. I think we could have seen that a bit earlier. It was done when the little scuffle on the ramp happened, but we don't actually see it happen on camera. So we know that there's a pretty sizable attack coming. We've seen the size of the army now. We are still not pulling the trigger on the cancel here, right? And this is, again, like, this is one of those hard calls to make, right? Of like, one, is my opponent even going to push my third, or do they even know it's there? Or are they going to push my nap? If they push my third, will they get the kill? And then do I try to save the third, right? He says, nah, I'm not going to try to save that, but I will send a Purification Nova down there as a warm welcome for you killing my third. Hey, Brahms, good to see you. Good to see you. Big, gigantic, juicy hit there, right? Huge, gigantic hit. Huge, gigantic hit. Now, HX just lost 400 minerals worth of Nexus, and he's lost like some Stalkers and whatnot, and an OBS earlier. So we end up about even here. But that's kind of an important point, right? We end up about even here. We just got our third killed. We end up about even after a big, gigantic, juicy Raptor hit. And gets another big chunk of the charge slots, right? Now, I wanna look at this Raptor. I wanna look specifically at our friend, this Disruptor. And we're going to look more at it later, but I just want you to have in your head this Disruptor, okay?
Consciousness awakened.
See our friend? See our friend? Immediately, a few things happen. Pushes back out to reclaim space. Sends a hallucinated Phoenix. Why do we care about reclaiming space? Because from a theoretical perspective, we really like to be retreating with Blink Disruptor. It is very, very, very strong when it is retreating. Another thing just happened. So 3 things in rapid succession, okay? Reclaim space as much as we can possibly reclaim. Send an ops, or send not an ops, hallucination, to go see, did opponent take a third behind that? And 3, HX misclick. I was gonna sweep that one under the rug for you. It's fine. I even threw out a little red herring mistake that didn't look that bad. That forgot to rally an obs, right? I had your back. Just let me work the production magic here, HX. I got you. Got you. So 3 things. Reclaim space. Send hallucination scout. Retake third immediately. Immediately retake the third. Because if opponent is retreating, they are not killing our third base. And if our plan is to get economically ahead, we have to do that, right? We can say we're going to give up our third. We can say we're going to give up our third. But we must retake, right? Now, if we had seen, okay, opponent is on the craziest all-in, we just need to live. If they're on a 1 base all-in, whatever, we don't need to do this way. Now, this is a spectacularly good kill. This is a huge swingy moment in this game. We will deep dive this more later. But due to the excellent vision that he has set up for himself with this observer and with the hallucination that just ran this way and died, he sees most of your army is up here. Your prism is down here with literally an Archon as its defense, and you are trying to warp in. Oh, actually, okay, literally an Archon and a couple charges. My bad. And he says, you know what? I can blink down here, kill that, and get away. And yeah, you can charge onto my Stalkers. I'm going to lose a little bit. But you know what doesn't get to win the game right now is your army without a prism. If I'm warping in and I've got, 6 Disruptors, right? So this is a hugely important moment. We will underline that even more as we go on here. But again, this is a great army while retreating. Notice here, I'm going to flip to the all vision for a second. Notice that opponent respects this actually a little bit, right? Opponent stops, kills that obs, does not chase up this ramp. If opponent chases up this ramp, they lose their entire army because opponent knows HX has a lot of Raptors, right? A lot of Raptors, and this is a small choke, right? This is a clunky army in a small choke. It will die if opponent runs up. So this is a lot of respect being given to the compositional choice.
Upgrade complete.
So we have a few more minutes worth of replay to go through in terms of just watching the game, and then I'm going to go and circle back to some of these key moments that I've been calling out. Note the 1 Stalker blink out to say, okay, you've just killed my vision tools. You killed my obs, and my hallucination died. I'm going to bleed off the Stalker from my army, and I'm just going to say, are you out here? Right? Let's start eliminating places on the map where you aren't, so that I can figure out where you are. Meanwhile, we have this sentry over here moving to this spot on the ramp. We don't want to be surprised, right? If opponent's army ends up here, the fact that we retreat well stops meaning anything, right? We can't be like, oh, I retreat really well to my third while opponent kills our nat and all of our production, then we're kind of sad, right? So we need to make sure that we are always retreating to things we want to defend, not away from things we want to defend. It sounds really straightforward and obvious, right? But I just want to really underline the importance of making sure that we don't get caught out of position with this army. So now a spotter pylon is going down to the north, and a hallucination scout is being sent out on kind of the western edge of our base. So here's that spotter pylon, and here's that hallucination. So we get a little catch the edge of some probes mining, right? So we know that the Nexus has gone down, but not actually finished, right? He sees on his minimap the hallucination is getting close, and says, okay, I'm gonna go click over to that. I'm gonna see what's there, right? Because if you just see some stuff on the minimap, that could be the army moving home. Seeing that it is probes returning minerals here means almost certainly, like, opponent has not just chosen to long distance mine, right? More likely what they did is take the Nexus, grab some extra probes that they produced from both of these places, right? Send them to the third, and say, okay, in a minute when the Nexus finishes, they won't be long distance mining, they'll be returning here. So we kind of get a gauge of when opponent just finished their third, or that opponent is about to, rather. So it looks like the Dark Shrine placement HX wanted to be in the main base, realizes it was at the Nat, cancels, moves it to the main, not a big deal, right? Again, not getting thrown off too badly by these little mistakes that don't matter that much is a really, really important skill that took me a while to develop. So HX sees, ooh, okay, you had army up here, you had army down here. So you know, or you anticipate that I'm going to push on exactly this path that I was going to push on to attack your third. And you're setting up to slam my army in what Neuro likes to call the Moses, right? The Moses. And I'm not falling for it. So I'm going to send a Purification Nova down here to zone out your army. If you want to walk into it, that's totally great. You can give me a chunk of your army, but probably you're going to walk away, right? Probably you're going to walk away. That gives me the ability to retreat up this ramp. Okay, now the army's retreating, so he can go look at the space for a second, right? Go look at the space. I got some idle probes, let's kind of take care of that. Now I'm back to looking at the army. The movement down here, right, we saw there's this army down here, right? So this army down here, I have just zoned it and said, you must move south or you will lose units, right? So opponent does, right? Opponent does the only thing they can do. HX moves around this way and says, how far south did you go and are you looking at your army? This is one of those things where, like, probably nothing happens here, right? In a GM level game, probably nothing happens. But it's this constant series of checks, right? It's like, are you slipping up? Because if you are, you're about to lose whatever chunk of army is down here. And so we even see, you know, an aggressive blink forward, a few shots at an Archon. Adraseth with the host. Welcome, dude. So let me do a quick reset for the Adro set and for Adraseth himself. We are looking at a GM Protoss replay in the Blink Disruptor style, a style I'm going to attempt to play a little bit later tonight, a style I am not good at playing. I've done it exactly one time. And I had a coach. So I expect to be plat-ish with that. But yeah, so we are just about finishing with our first sort of watch through of just what happens in this game, right? This is HJax against Wenez? Wenez? Weenies? It's HJax against Weenies. And yeah, so we're just kind of having a quick little watch through, and then we're going to call out some of the important moments of this game. And we're going to have a little bit of interaction too. We're going to do a little bit of Q&A, so if you can, stay near your keyboards, okay? Because we're in 3 minutes here, we're going to be entering into the interactive portion of our class where we study this replay. Now, this is me learning too. I don't know this style very well. I have started to learn the theory. I am trying to expand my theoretical understanding of the game and to also kind of pair that with some practical application stuff. As we're going to see once we're done with class and I try to play this style, understanding the theory and being able to do it are two pretty different things, right? And then understanding the theory in broad strokes and then understanding very specific different scenarios and little nuances are also very different things, right? So we saw HX picked off a Ruptor from opponent. We see Disruptor production 2 at a time from both our opponent and HX now. So opponent had been in an Immortal Charge-Lot Archon style and has now transitioned into Blink Disruptor. Another Disruptor gets picked off here. Thank you again, Adro, for the support, dude. Really appreciate you. Glad you're getting some time to stream again. I know you were working really hard for a while there, not getting as much game time as you want. So some good respect there. Oof. Okay. Things are happening quickly. So let me finish the one thought and talk about the other. So what I mean by respect here is HX has his Disruptors all kind of balled up, right? Scouts, or sees 2 Disruptors with his army and says, you know what, I'm going to back up a little bit. Let me get my Disruptors to where they're kind of safe, and then I can move forward with the Stalkers, right? That's the movement that I'm talking about. So the Raptors, the whole army moves back. The Raptors say the Stalkers move forward. That's because the Stalkers are more mobile, right? Now the idea here is you have 2 Disruptors. I have approximately 1,000 billion million Stalkers here. If I can kill both of your Disruptors that have shot balls at me before the balls end, then I get 2 Disruptors and you get nothing, right? This is one of those really, really, really hard calls to make that looks really spectacular when you get it right and looks really dumb when you get it wrong, right? But if you want to play at a very high level, you need to do this kind of, you need to be able to pull the trigger on this kind of stuff when it looks, when your brain tells you that it is correct to do, right? Now, how do you do that? Well, there's a line that you are trying to not cross, right? Here's the line. This is the line where if you're on this side of it, all your stuff blows up. If you're on this side of it, you get 2 Disruptors for free. The only way you ever find that line is if sometimes you're over here, right? So in this case, we kill the Disruptor, luckily, that shot the ball that was going to blow up first, right? You see how the timing on this? This one is disappearing right now, but it was about to blow up. Let's back up to like a couple seconds before that. Just make sure that I'm calling this out properly. Okay, so we get our stuff reorganized here. Move the Stalkers forward. First ball comes out. Second ball comes out. See the difference in the timer here? So this is, if you see it, a skill thing, and if you don't see which shot which, a luck thing. But he kind of sees this one come out of this Disruptor. And this is the other forward one. This one definitely didn't shoot it. This one did. So, okay, I'm going to shoot this one, then I'm going to shoot that one, right? So, okay, blink on it, kill it. This ball is now disabled. It's not going to hit us, right? It poofs. Now I need to kill this Disruptor, right? And he is shooting it, but the cooldown of the Stalkers that are near it is such that he does not get the shot off before this ball completes. And so we get a big strike. Opponent has bowled a strike. And now our Stalkers are kind of in a little spot of bother, right? This is not ideal. We've blunked forward. Blinked. We've blinked it forward. And after we blink, now we can't get away. We are on cooldown for 3 seconds. HJax claims Stalkers can always get away. I claim his Stalkers can always get away. Mine cannot, as you will see later tonight. So we say run. We have lost 8 Stalkers so far. We've lost 8. Wait, have we? Is that a lie? I want to say I read 18 after the big hit. So we have 25 to start. 25 to start, right? We lose a bunch in a big hit here. Okay, sorry, 15. So now he says, all right, I'm out. And he loses, I guess, 4. Actually, it's kind of debatable when that 5th one dies. But he only loses 4 running away, right? And then he's got a million Raptors up here, so he can zone away opponent's army. Say, hey, if you want to run up here, you're paying for it, right? You want to run up here, you're paying for it. And again, you could just keep doing this, right? If you want to keep pursuing me, you're going to keep taking Purification Novas on the ball of big expensive stuff, right? Yeah, okay, your Zealots are chipping away at me or whatever, but like if I'm getting the land Novas on this stuff, this is actually fine. We can run all the way home. You want to chase me all the way home? Go for it. Although, as I say that, I kind of forgot HX recalls. So the recall goes off. A couple of Raptors get left behind. Sucks a bit, but hey, is what it is. Now, who was paying attention in class? I want you to raise your hand. I want you to raise your hand if you were paying attention. Who can tell me when these Dark Templar were sent? And no cheating. if you're good at calculation and you just know how long it takes on Port Alexander to run across the map as a Dark Templar. No cheating and doing the math, okay? When were these guys sent? When were these guys sent? I called out the Dark Shrine when it was made. In fact, I even made a point of talking about the fact that he built it where he didn't want it, canceled it, and rebuilt it in the main. But I did not call out the Dark Templar being made. We'll look at that on the backswing, don't worry about it. So, okay. One good thing happens, one bad thing happens, and one medium thing happens, right? So we retreat after killing a Raptor and landing a few decent shots on the Immortal Archon, right? But that is a very shieldy boy sort of an army, so just landing one Nova is not the most amazing. So, recall, not spectacular, but it saves our stuff. The Raptors we killed, pretty great, but then we lose 2 while running away, so we're not up there. But a really good thing happens, which is a double DT counterattack, right? A double DT counterattack. So let's watch through to the rest of the replay here. Now, this is this is kind of a nice little moment for HX, right? Catches another prism on the map with the sentry that he left earlier when I was talking about him trying to make sure this ramp was not caught unawares. Manages to send that packet. Look at this fucker beast moding the Blink Raptor. I'm good to see you, Steve. This is not my replay. It's not my replay. It's HX's. Traded like 15 stalkers for 4 disruptors, which isn't a terrible trade. But you lost 2 of your own, though. You lost 2 of your own on the runaway. So I would say you pushing out ends up going better for your opponent than it does for you. But that wasn't the only thing you were doing, right? It's not the only thing you were doing. So gigantic hit here. We can re-examine the fight when we circle back to the kind of important moments phase of the replay analysis checks, and we can argue about which things are good for you versus your opponent. I think that's an interesting line of discussion for everyone. So opponent pushes forward again. Blink Stalker defends really well, or Blink Disruptor defends really well, and it runs away really well. So here we kind of see that. Now, he who draws first wins. This ball will not defeat this Disruptor before this ball defeats that Disruptor, right? And also, by the way, there's a million Stalkers, so this is never really what you want. Boom. And we see that ball goes away, right? Feels bad, man. But again, we've got DTs in opponent's base, and we are up a ramp. Do you want to push up a ramp? Oh, okay, you want to attack my third. Cool. I can go over and defend my third. In fact, oh, look at that. I set up a spotting pylon earlier. How spectacular, says HX. My spotting pylon confirms that you didn't just juke me. You didn't pretend to walk up here, get me to move over there, and then move back, right? There's no bamboozle. I know where your army is.
I am here in the shadows.
Even warps in 2 spots. Even warps in 2 spots. The 4th and the 3rd. He's gonna sandwich him. Shot gets traded. He who shoots first wins. Opponent blinks a few forward. I think they're probably trying to blink 1 for vision. They ended up grabbing 3. Not a huge deal. 2 shots go off. HX retreats. Opponent retreats. Another shot goes off. Almost gets the most juicy hit of the history of the universe. Opponent is quick on the blink. However, boom. Can't blink those. Just blunked them. Fires multiple shots into the sort of juicy Archon Immortal center of the cookie. Aggressive blink forward. Opponent has no more Raptors, so I don't need to be afraid. Note the target fire on the prism. That shuts down reinforcements. Opponent GG's out. Okay. So I want to look at some crucial moments here, right? So the early game pieces, right? The early game pieces are kind of whatever. There are obviously some skills. Not that opponent can afford to reinforce. Lol. So BM. So the early game moments, right? There's good stuff happening here, right? Like The super consistent pylon walling, the safe positioning of the sentry. I've called out some of these things already, but these are kind of par for the course, right? These are, if you want to be a GM level player, which HX is, you need to have these types of fundamentals pretty solidly down, right? You won't often see him making mistakes with this type of stuff. It happens, but even then he has ways of saving himself, right? Like I've seen him take a late cyber against a Terran opening Reaper and not get punished for it because he distracted them on the probe. You know, like baiting opponent over this way with a probe or whatnot, just specifically to buy time for the mistake. These kinds of things. So the things that I do want to look at, right, are when is he getting vision, right? When is he getting vision and of what? So this is kind of our first hallucination, I believe. Oh no, this is our second one. This scouts the tech. Now before, we were on a guess that opponent opened Stargate because they had sent Double Adept in their own turn, right? Now we confirm Twilight Robo, say, all right, fine. We're going to play Blink Disruptor against you. That was always our plan anyway, right? Okay, sure. Let's kind of keep speeding through here. I want to call out important moments only, and I want to skip through the rest because we've already all watched this replay, right? Opponent opens Charge Lot. Opponent pushes in pretty aggressively with some Stalker at the beginning here. And then blinks away. Opponent shows Blink, right? Now we already kind of confirmed it because we saw the Twilight, right? You're not going to like make a bunch of Stalkers and give Twilight and not get Blink, but opponent shows my Blink is done. Right? So we know their Twilight was a little bit before ours. Our Blink is not done yet. And we say, you know what? One safety battery, not the end of the world. Now, he's already confirmed that the second base is done. So this is not like some, you know, fake expo, you know, weird like 7-gate robo, or rather 3-gate robo, you know, off of one base type of play. Something weird, but it is some Stalker aggression. So one battery, make sure I live at home, fine.
I'm here in the shadows. Let our enemy know.
So opponent tries to push up the ramp. We're in position. We blink away. We realize, oh crap! You know, here's that moment I called out earlier where the observers did not get rallied, right? Yeah. And so he's like, okay, let me just rally them both real quick. Gets some vision. This placement protects us against a blink in or like an elevator push. Hey, Eltish, Happy New Year, dude. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. We're doing a little replay analysis class right now, and then we're gonna jump into some ladder. So like I say, that placement protects us from the blink in here, which is a pretty big problem. And then the other observer's job is to go out, either spot the army or go scout what is happening in opponent's base, right? Depending on whether or not it crosses the path. This positioning keeps us safe from a push in at our nat, and hopefully we will see something coming if this ops comes and tries to, or if opponent tries to come and get us from this angle. So now a little bit of a move out. I'm guessing that this is accidental by HX just because of where the army was, right? He tells the Stalkers move out. And they're like, yeah, sure, we're gonna go whichever way feels right in our hearts. And you know, for everybody that's different. It's a very subjective thing. And these three, you know, they're renegades. They decided we're gonna move out on a different path. This kind of thing is good and bad, right? Like on the one hand, these rebels might kind of get wrecked, right, if they run into opponent's whole army. On the other hand, yeah, Bronze League M Canning is the intended title. Thank you though, Adeline. I appreciate you. I'm going to be playing a Blink Disruptor style in a little bit here, so it'll be Bronze League M Canning for sure. I mean, in truth, it might be Plat League M Canning. That's what I'm actually expecting. But I got a big old host, I think, off of the back of this title on Sunday. And I think that it's a provocative and catchy title, so we're running with it again tonight. Anyway, my point on this is just, you might catch opponent's army movement by doing this, but I'm pretty sure this is just an accident by HX. I don't think it's intentional. What about Bronze League Neeb? I don't think that they make a league that encapsulates the kind of Neeb that I am. Oh, like Adepts? I mean, I'm probably pretty solidly like a Gold League Neeb. I'm like a Gold League Adepting 2016 Neeb. Right? I gotta think I'm at least average at doing that. So this is just a little check. This is a little, are you over here, right? If we look at this, this seems unimportant. I'm gonna call this out because this specifically is actually pretty important for a point I'm gonna make in another little second here. We get vision of the gas. And we get vision of, I think, what would be the corner of the nexus, and then we dip out. We say, do you have a base here? Do you have a base here? I have a base. Do you have a base? Right? Oh, you're talking about the Disruptor games then. I gotcha. I thought you were talking about how he was playing Adept against Zergs in that day and age. That was like the time for 7 Adept Glaive builds. So this is that moment with the little scuffle before that I talked about. Now, there's a little bit of a funny thing. So a little bit of cognitive bias when I was asking HJax about this replay. He thought that he remembered seeing this prism. I confirmed that his vision never sees the prism. What he does see is the shadow of the prism. I think we just passed it, actually. At first, he tried to claim that the replay was wrong. And then he eventually said, okay, fine, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that I did not see the prism. This is important for a question I'm about to pose to you, chat. I hope everybody in class is paying attention. I hope you're at your keyboards. So we're about to come to what I think is one of the most important things in this replay. I'm looking for something specific here, so I'm going to slow it down. I could have sworn we saw a shadow of it. I guess not. I don't know. I thought that he saw the shadow of the prism. But it's neither here nor there. The point is, we have not gotten vision of it. This is a huge clue. This is a huge clue that aggression is coming, right? But he doesn't see it. He doesn't see it. Okay, now we get to the crucial moment, okay? Class, why does HJax make 2 cannons and 2 additional shield batteries when he already has a shield battery at the front? Who can answer that? Who can answer this question? Because HJax is stream sniping, that's right. That's exactly right. He's a filthy cheater, and we finally have proof. He saw lots of stuff. Did he, though? Did he, though? Did he, though? Did he? He's scared. That's a good answer. I like that answer. I like that answer. Why is he scared? Let's look at what he sees. Let's look at what he sees. Because he was overpooled while his gates were cycling. Oh, you mean like floating money? Could be. That's low-key what Ellen would say if I made a decision like this. It's, yeah. It's both high and low-key what he would say. 100%. So we're going to look at his vision, okay? We're going to look at his vision. I'm going to play it at normal speed. I want you to look at what he sees. What does he see? 2 zealots. Let's keep track. 4 zealots. 5 zealots. I think this is like a double-headed zealot here. No? I don't know where the 5th zealot is. Oh, there's one over here. Okay. 5 zealots, 1 adept, 1 stalker, and 1 immortal. Does somebody want to be a Rain Man in the chat right now and tell me how much supply that is? Haven't seen anything more. Haven't seen anything more. Still haven't seen anything more. Okay, we've seen 1 zealot more now. Still have not seen an additional unit. 40, 17, 42, 39, 37. Answer is we don't know. Opponent shows blink. At this moment, he knew he'd have to up now. We have not actually seen very much, right? They move aggressively. I'll give you that. But opponent has an immortal. Opponent has an immortal and about as much stuff as we do, right? Now, here's what we do know. We have a 3rd, they don't. But our 3rd isn't finished in mining. Our 3rd is not finished in mining. So, why? Why is he scared? We agree that he's scared. Why is he scared? I asked him, by the way, and he's intentionally not spoiling it for everybody, and I appreciate you, HJax, for that. This is a huge commitment. This is like an oh crap level of defensive structures to be building. He has more bases. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Now note, we scout a bunch of stuff now. We see a bunch of stuff now, right? But we've already made the decision. So anything we see from here on out, we've already made the decision. Lack of a third is a reasonable answer, right? But again, our third was only about this far done when the decision gets made to build these things. Let's go back and look. Let's go back and look. When he pulls the trigger on making these defensive structures, right? What things does, or rather, how far along is the base? So let's look. Okay, when does the trigger get pulled on building stuff? Right now. Right now he's decided it. Base is a third of the way done-ish. No charge, no blink, no third. Opponent's money's... Opponent does have blink and I believe has also shown charge. Opponent shows blink a little bit before you got here, Steve. I think you missed that bit in the replay. I will tell you what the real answer is. I will tell you what the real answer is, and it blew my freaking mind, okay? Initially, remember, I said there was some cognitive bias in HX's recollection, because he watched the replay with the everyone vision, and he told me it was that the answer was not anything about the third, not anything about him having a third opponent, not having one. Rather, he said, I scouted the prism, and the prism means aggression. But we verified he does not scout the prism. So what was it? What was it? Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look. I want your eyes right here. 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 Prism wouldn't be the only reason, but you said it was the major reason. What do we see? Yeah, he does see charge right here. Because the Zealots were over here and then they connect with the army. What does he see here? Note, we are looking at his vision. We are looking at his vision. His vision never goes to opponent's main base. His vision never goes to opponent's main base. The reason that HX makes these defensive structures is that his eyeballs hit the minimap. His eyeballs hit the minimap and he sees this shape. If we look back to before that scout happens, that shape is not present. See? Right about now, that shape is not there. Right? That shape gets revealed here. Gets revealed at like 7:30. So his eyeballs look at the minimap even though his vision never looks at what that is. And really, what else could that be but a bunch of freaking gateways, right? I mean, okay, yeah, there's simpler attack, right? But it's a big gate explosion. It's way more gates than I have, right? And he's already seen the rest of this stuff. He already knows there's 3 gate. So you've just made a big old block of gateways. I believe when we were talking about it before, he told me that he thought it was the full-blown, like, 8 gates worth of crap, right? It ends up being 6 gate and some tech, but neither here nor there. In the moment, he goes, oh, crap. Okay, I've not only scouted that you don't have a third, but also I know that that money went into a crap load of gateways. It is not that your base is a little bit delayed compared to mine. It is that you are about to try to kill me. And now my job is to not die. And so how do I not die? I build 1,000,000 backup pylons for my defensive little fortress. I get 1,000,000 shield batteries, and I get a couple of cannony boys. Now let's look at the next little important moment, right? So we run away, he's trying to trade as well as he can, whatever. We don't care about that, it's unimportant, we've already seen that. He's doing his best here. He looks out, where's your stuff? Ah, it's going to my third. Alright, cool, let's go here, into the main, let's spread a little bit of vision. Ovs goes here. Ovs goes here. Let's get a little warp in, get our stuff hotkey together. Okay, opponent's attacking our third. Now he makes a decision here. I can't save the third, but what I can do is send a little welcome Nova down to you, right? Send a little Nova your way. Here's a warm welcome. So he loses the third, but he gets a nice juicy hit, right? So let's look at how that trades either way, right? So HX has lost like an extra 600 over his opponent, just in the process of like that retreat and the little scuffle on the way here, right? So he's down a good chunk. He's down a good chunk, right? Opponent comes in, says, hey, lol, nice third base you have here. Sure would be a shame if something happened to it, right? And so now, sorry, I got mistaken by how I was gesturing. Let me try again. Let me try again. Sure would be a shame if something happened to it. So now we go from 1,300 lost to 1,700 lost, right? We are now way down in resources lost, but crucial moment, we sent that little welcome basket to opponent. And we're even. Ta-da! Now, if instead he rushes that army into combat, which is what I would do, and says, I gotta save my third. My plan is to macro up. My opponent has tech. I don't. They have Archon tech. I'm afraid. No. Send one Nova down. Don't waste your army. The base is already going to die no matter what. You're out of position, dude. You're out of position. Your opponent has charge lots. So he makes the best of it, and he ends up freaking even. And then he doesn't panic, right? Next thing is he doesn't panic. He zones away the army. Zones away the army. And now I wanted to talk about this Disruptor. The story of this Disruptor. Okay? Let's watch this Disruptor. Just watch just this Disruptor. Stop. Wait. This Disruptor is at 22 health. With charge lots attacking it. And Immortals there. And Archons, and they want it dead. But you know what? It has a hell of a lot of shieldy boys. And it lives. And you know why it lives? Because H-Shax's eyeballs saw this on the minimap and he built a bunch of defensive fortifications. If he doesn't do that, he's dead. He's dead, chat. Okay, maybe he gets some good Disruptor hits. He might not be dead. But anyway, certainly that one Disruptor's dead. And certainly he's not trading great because now we're starting to lose stuff here. Maybe this Nexus dies and he's in a world of hurt. And yeah, maybe he kills opponent's army, but it's bad, right? But all this, super, super good. Super important. There's another really important thing that happens. Remember this guy? This got set up during all of this chaotic mess, okay? He reclaims the space. We talked about this before. Reclaim space. 3 things happen right now. Reclaim space, get vision, retake the third base. Immediately retake the third base. Boom. Opponent goes home. Or opponent starts going home anyhow. We see where opponent is. We see this under-defended prison. Opponent's units. Opponent only has this one prison. Only had that one prison that day. It was a little bit too quick. Let's go back. I want you to look at the vision here, right? HX sends opponent moving away. Opponent's moving away. Reclaim the third. Zone out with the Disruptor. Let's look. 1x speed now. Get this vision going. Show me the army. Take this Phoenix. Show me the army. Warp in. Spend my money. Spend my money. Okay, I see the army. I'm going to get back in position to defend my third. Opponent blinks. We get a couple shots off. We zone out the army again. Let me check my vision. I see on my mini-map a little something over here. Oh, okay. I saw the bulk of your army was up here. The bulk of your army was up here. I just zoned it away. Now I see you're trying to reinforce down here. That multi-prong is going to be kind of problematic, right? But you know what's great is me sniping your prison. So let's just go ahead, aggressive blink forward onto that, kill your prison. This is a huge moment in the game because this effectively ends the push. This is the second crucial moment in the game. The first one was vision on the minimap, building the adequate defenses. The second is handling of this situation at the third. 3 things that happen all in very quick succession, which sets up for the Prism Snipe. I'm going to call all of that one moment because it's kind of lots of little interrelated decisions and play that happen, right? So again, taking a look at units lost. Now he's not only massively ahead, right, but he's got a third cooking. He's got a third cooking. Opponent has also started their third, but HX's is almost done, despite losing it and having to restart it. He is up in stuff lost, and his base is quicker than opponent's base. And then we push out, and stuff kind of goes badly for us, right? We push out, stuff doesn't go great. We can look at that and argue about it if you want. Here, we've already seen the production, right? So let's just look at resources lost as we go. So right now we're up by about 1,000, 1,100-ish, right? So this is that little zone out, loop around thing to defeat opponent's Moses technique. If you get behind one of the walls of water, then the Moses can't work on you. Kill some charge lots, we're up in money again. We're up even more money. Okay, so HX says I lose like 15 stalkers or whatever, and I kill 4 raptors. Here's the first one. Zone out opponent's army. Sharking around, sharking around. Sending out that one stalker, right? He single blink out for vision so that he doesn't run into anything. Again, single blink out for vision so he doesn't run into anything he's not ready for. Consistently, he does this. Meanwhile, at home, we are rallying up a secondary Blink Disruptor army. This is for if we lose our first one, or if we need to retreat home and we lose some on the way home. Second Raptor dies. Nice little pickoff. This is that double shot, right? It's that double shot coming up here, where he kills 2 more and he loses a bunch of stalkers. So here we are up massive, right? We are up just astronomical amounts of money. It ends up swinging back a little bit. This is that move back. Blink in. Now he's up about triple. And now he's not anymore. So, but again, this is one of those things that either looks spectacular if you get it exactly right, and otherwise you're like, ooh, that was a big chunk of things, right? So you don't get all of those other kills that he got, right? All those other clean little disruptor snipes without risking crossing the line a little bit. If this is the line between good stuff, I'm getting free disruptors, and oops, I just lost 1/3 of my stalkers, sometimes you're going to cross over, or you're not pushing it hard enough, right? So we don't love this, right? We certainly don't love it in this one game, but over a career, these types of things are fine, right? Because if you're never doing these kinds of things, you're not pushing your units hard enough. So then we run away. We're losing more, we're losing more. This is not the most spectacular, right? Not the most spectacular. Opponent is closing the gap a little bit, but we do recall out a bunch of army, and we're still up, right? We are still up. It's also hell of a red pool. What do you mean? Sorry? Red pool. I don't get what you mean. So if we look at the economics here, opponent has like no workers now, right? We again did not look at the DT aspect of what was happening, right? Oh, opponent hit like 2k pool. I gotcha. So let's go back and look at the story of those DTs, okay? Let's go back and look at the story of the DTs, because that's the other important piece of what happens in this game. Because while all of that trading was going on, this was happening, right? And this is super smart too, right? This is another really, really good, really important thing that happens in this game. So, the DT Shrine finishes, and we hear from the shadows echo. DT Shrine finishes, and we hear a warp in. Right, so let's see. Shrine is about to be done. Shrine is about to be done. Let's look at the vision. Let's watch this move out get set up. So we just did a little alley-oop on opponent's army, right? I've shown that a few times now. We did a little alley-oop, we'll run around, and now we're going to do that little pullback. Here's the warp in. So let's watch the camera movements that cause that. Shrine about to finish. Where's your stuff? Where's your stuff? How's my third looking? Cool. How's my army? Let me warp in 2 DTs. I want to rally 1 here, and I want to rally 1 here. Let's back that up just a tiny bit. Watch it again one more time at normal speed. Click to my third, box the Raptors, or box the Dark Templar rather. Click them here, shift deselect 1, take the other one, pan up to the main, click it there. And now I'm done. Now I'm done. Very quick little action. How long does that take him? Probably 2 seconds, maybe, at most. Okay, so maybe 3 seconds. He starts doing it at about 12:09, I think. Watch it at normal speed. One more time. Warp in at 12:09. Box, rally at 12:10. Rally at 12:12. Done. Back moving to my army. 3 seconds. But it takes the presence of mind to do it while you're making probes, while you're looking at this army. He did the little blink out with a stalker right before all of this happened. And then he clicked, said, ah, my Dark Shrine's about to be done. Okay, warp in, go here, look at my army. And so as a result of that, we fast forward a little bit, right? Fast forward a little bit. Opponent's on 43 workers, right? Opponent's on 43 workers. Wait for it. Wait for it. There's a scuffle happening. There's a big old fight right now. It's a big old fight. Also, dun dun dun, there's a DT in your base. There's a DT in your other base too, by the way. Just by the way. There's also a DT in this base. There's a DT in your main. Are you looking at your army? Are you looking at your army? Yeah, okay, you just killed a couple of my Raptors. Do you have an economy right now? Sorry, wait, how much? What's your income? What's your mineral income right now? Oh, you don't have one? Oh, that's a shame. I just took a 4th base. I took a 4th base while this was happening. Now I'm about to be mining with full saturation on 4 bases. Well, not full, I mean, our main is mined out, but you get the idea. That DT is still in your main, by the way. Are you looking at your army? Because I can send Purification Novas at it and kill it. There's a DT in your main. Are you looking at your army? Because I'm about to send Novas at it. So opponent loses a big chunk. Opponent gets a big chunk. Opponent's warping in. Opponent tries to go push up here. But honestly, none of this is important anymore. Because as long as HX doesn't die, as long as he trades okay from here, the fact that opponent has no income, and HX does have an income, means that unless this fight is a victory, right, opponent is dead. And opponent knows this. Opponent tried to push in. Opponent can't get anything done. Opponent GG's. And dead. Ta-da! So, 3 important things in this game. First one, we see this, we react accordingly. Second one, crisis management, spreading vision, reclaiming space, and instantly retaking the third. Third one, 2 DT counterattack while maintaining our army on the map and making sure that we don't lose too much. Now, we saw some stuff go wrong, right? We saw HJax do a recall. You can't quite bunch everything into a recall anymore. Recall's really tiny. He loses a couple Raptors. He loses a big chunk of Stalkers while he's trying to kill some Disruptors out here. All of these are fine. You can make mistakes. You can lose stuff. But if your opponent doesn't have workers because you have 2 DTs in their base, and if they can't handle that because you have a Disruptor Stalker army, and they have to be looking at their army while you're taxing their multitasking with the DTs, guess what? They don't have workers and you do. And it's spectacular. So, that concludes the class portion. If you liked it, let me know that you like it. I would love to do more of this type of stuff because I need to learn it. If we hated this class, if we hated this type of content, I'm going to have to split my time a little bit more finely because I can't both be making Twitch content and doing this type of study. I found this enormously instructive. I did a lot of prep work of watching this replay a bunch very attentively with lots of caffeine in me to make sure that I could learn kind of what I felt were the important pieces of this game. So if it was cool, let me know if it was cool. If it sucked, you can tell me it sucked too. Maybe do that like less publicly. But you could do it here too. It's whatever. Yeah, I think it's something I can get better at too. If we decide we like it and want to do more. This is less of a me teaching thing and more of a us learning together kind of thing, right? Because I'm sure I didn't see everything in this replay. I'm sure I didn't catch everything. We may have different opinions about some of the stuff or what was important or what wasn't. Which things were good for the player that we're kind of watching, which weren't. But overall, I feel I learned a lot. And now I'm going to demonstrate that theoretical understanding means only a tiny fraction of whether or not you win a game. Because I'm going to try to play this style and I'm not very good at it.